Welcome to today's Seidokan Saturday, sort of. These are the Kempo technique additions to what I teach in my dojo. The Kempo techniques that I teach came from Sonny Gaston, from Adriano Emperado, from William Chow, from the Kempo lineage in Hawaii, which was my first long-time studied art before I switched to Seidokan 28 years ago or so. And the Kempo techniques are, again, yakusoku. They're prearranged, but they teach methods of moving a little bit more quickly. Probably the only thru based practitioner that I've seen that comes close to this is Tadashi Yamashita, and he had very similar applications when he did bunkai and when he did yakusoku or even freestyle sparring. His techniques tended to be very much more this. These techniques give us ideas and clues as to interpretation of kata, as to what to do after our Seidokan Basic 11 yakusoku, which again are just the irimi or the entry techniques. And so once we've done the basic Seidokan 1 or the basic Seidokan 2 or whatever it is we're doing, what do we do after that? It's not just a one hit and out. In the Motobu lineage, Choyu's lineage, we have Choyu Motobu to Uyehara to Toma, and then he added the Shorinryu-based kata. His brother Choki Motobu, in his Motobu lineage, their yakusoku are 2 or 3 step movements back and forth, more of a give and take with an opponent, like practice sparring, a flow drill, if you will, kind of a thing. So the Kempos give us a clue, in my mind, in my teaching, in the way that I approach it, to what we can do as follow-ups to the yakusoku of the Seidokan system, or in interpretation of the bunkai. So today's Seidokan, but not so much, is Kempo number 5. Kempo number 5 starts facing the opponent. The attack comes, and because it is Kempo, which means fist law, all of the attacks are a basic punch. They can be applied to weapons, grabs, and other things, but they are practiced initially just off of a basic punch. So as the punch comes straight at us, we shuffle step. So we come together. This bringing the feet together takes us offline from the punch, which is always the first thing that we must do. And one of my students the other night asked how to coordinate one of the techniques, and I said, first thing is get out of the way. It's the old Karate Kid 2 answer, best the defense and they'll be there. So as the punch is coming, I bring my feet together, which allows that punch to brush by. I use my left hand as a knife hand block as I'm moving in my shuffle step. Chicken wrist, rising. This can be done as a push against a circular punch or as a block and strike to the hand. Then a downward riken, back fist, downward back fist, also known as riken. Some uraken is this way, riken is this way. They both mean the same thing. Followed by a side thrust kick and a cover step away from the opponent. That's the basic technique. Okay, Tara, if you will. Let's switch sides so I can do it this way. Onegaishimasu. So we start uke, same basic punch. And I'm going to talk a little bit about levels of how we did this, which if you go back, I covered in vlogs 15 through 18 about the progression, but we'll talk about that in a second. So the punch comes, I step out of the way of the punch as I'm knife hand blocking, as I rise with my chicken wrist, nice little point here under the wrist, most of you will know, striking, downward back fist to the face. This may knock them back or may not. If it knocks them back, I can shuffle up with my side kick, but in place for practice here, thrust kick, cover step, and away. Okay? Again, hey! 1, 2, 3, hey! And go. So progression-wise, let's go this way a little bit. This is how we always start, is I ki, she attacks, I do technique. That's the training, practice, beginner level sequence. But at Hachikyu, we've been here 6, 8 months, maybe a year. Now we can start looking at progressions, again going back to vlogs 15 through 18. The second progression would be, I don't cue her, I'm just standing here, oh, she goes, and I respond as soon as I see the attack coming. Third progression would be, we're moving more like sparring, and still, again, same technique. The last progression deals with the wild swinging. Now for safety practice in the dojo, she can just be wild swinging and slapping on the shoulders like she's moving around and she's attacking me, okay? These would be the punches to the head, all right? So the idea here is, maybe I cover for a minute as she does that, and then I do the technique. Or maybe we're moving around and I'm trying not to get hit, and then I do the technique. But the idea is, at some point, I interrupt her onslaught, and we raise the level to a little bit more freestyle. It's similar to back when I played basketball in high school and a little bit in college, that we would practice shooting a layup. Layup drills, you have your two lines, you layup, layup, layup. But at a certain point in high school, our coaches would get a blocking dummy or a kicking pad or something, and as we're coming in for our layup, they would swing that pad and try and knock our legs out from under us and hit us in the head with it, and we still had to make the layup or run laps, okay? So we elevate the progression. We do it against live resistance. But the basic practice is shuffle with the block, with the hit, and the kick. Okay, last time, this is Kempo technique number 5. Hey! Hey! Up. So that's our technique for the day. Again, not purely Seidokan, but it gives, in context, sort of the, I wanted to introduce the elevation of the technique. And this should be done with all of the techniques that we practice, by the way, at a certain point. So at blue belt, from level 1, I signal, she punches, I do the technique, to level 2, I don't signal, she punches whenever she wants. That's about where we should start looking at blue belt. The next evolution from free movement would be green belt level, and then finally at sparring level we get to brown and black belt, where we're working the techniques, trying to come out of random attacks. Okay? Thank you for joining again. Sorry it's not purely Seidokan today, but it is a useful technique and a look back to the earlier vlogs on how we progress these. And as always, please like, subscribe, share, comment, ask questions, criticize me, tell me I'm an idiot, whatever it is you feel like doing. And until next time, as always, keep practicing.